Well, good morning, and once again, here I am in the Bear's Den, my little studio in my home, and it's in my basement. Like I always tell you, it's like an old cave den downstairs. The bear, like a grumpy old bear, like me, hangs out hangs out in. Anyhow, I'm down here this morning. I was writing charts actually. I've got a gig in Orange Beach this next week. Well, actually, yeah, this week later. I'm playing Friday and Saturday in Orange Beach. So anyhow, I wanted to try to get my charts together and run through tunes and make sure I know what I'm playing. And then I was thinking to myself this morning about an old jazz standard that I like to play. Now the gig this weekend, coming up, it's a country gig, but jazz is my thing. So there's an old song. It's kind of one of the Dirty Dozen that we used to call them. That's the and it's more than 12 songs actually, but it's songs that you kind of have to know to be a jazz player. If you're going to go out to a jam and play, you better know these tunes because they're going to get called. And one of them's called All the Things You Are. It's in the key of A flat. Then it changes key, I guess basically for the bridge. Nice tune, right? And the chord changes are a lot of what make it cool. So take a look at that. Let me lay this violin down so I don't do anything harmful to it. All right, that's better. All right, so and I love playing these little tunes. First chord's F minor. Let's play it here. We can see it better. So. Back to the original chords. Hard key to whistling. Too high. All right, nice chord changes, right? Now, in one of my previous videos, I had mentioned that there's all these play-along tracks, basically, that are available on YouTube. Now, look, I stinking love YouTube because YouTube's the greatest thing on the planet sometimes, I think, because you can, if you need to work on your car, you can go to YouTube and find something information on how to fix your car. If you want to learn how to play the violin or play the piano or play guitar, there's so much instructional material on there. So there's a lot of junk on there, maybe too, but I mean, it's all, the world's full of junk, but the world's also full of good stuff too. So take a moment to maybe peruse YouTube and find some of the stuff on there that's fun to play along with. Now these play along tracks are pretty cool. I'll play along with a little bit of this one. This is on somebody else's YouTube page. I don't know whose it is. But I would just type in jazz background tracks or play along tracks and you'll be surprised what you'll find on there. And here's this one. Let's see here.
Anyhow, so that's a couple of passes on that one. There we go. Shut that thing off. That's one of those things. It's funny. So for years and years, I would never, I would never use it. But the space bar is the best way to start and stop the computer when it's doing playback stuff. At least I say that. That's on a Mac. Now I don't know about the PCs if they work the same way or not. But on a Mac, if music's playing, you just pop, hit space bar and it stops and starts. It's pretty cool, right? Nifty. And I would see guys do that, and then I would never do it. And then I thought, this is silly because that's the easiest access to get to that. Stop and start. Just hit it there. So a little piece of extra information for you. But anyhow, these tunes are so much fun to play. And the first chord change is an F minor. And F minor is basically A flat. So you take your A flat scale, but you start on the sixth part, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is your F, and play that A flat scale starting on F. It basically becomes an F minor scale. And then, so the next chord is like a B flat minor, which is basically a D flat scale. See, if you work on your D flat, so knowing those scales makes a huge difference. So you got F minor, which is the A flat, and then the B flat minor, which is D flat. And E flat's next. And A flat, just plain A flat. Then plain D flat. You get a 2-5-1 thing. D minor. G, C. C minor, which is E flat. Back to the F minor, which is what do you call it? A flat. Then plain B flat. Plain old E flat again. Then A flat. A minor. D. G. So 2-5-1 there. So. And then G minor, C minor, then F, B flat there, and then E flat, A minor, D and G. Yeah, it gets you through the first half, and then you got the bridge after that. So it's basically a series of like 2-5-1s with some little key changes and some interesting things. But the way they fall on that tune makes it a lot of fun to play. And I learned that song actually from a guy named Johnny Strickler. Johnny's this wonderful guitar player that lives in Springfield, Missouri. And he and Richard Bruton used to play a duo gig, and they would let me come by and sit in with them sometimes. And that was a tune that they would play a lot. And so I kind of learned it from them. And I remember when I first started playing it, I was about 19 years old. I think that's about how old I was when I met those guys. And, well, that's been a long time ago. Holy cow. But I learned that song, like I said, when I was about 19.
And at the time, I kind of struggled with it because my my grasp and my ability to play those scales, specific ones like the flatted scales, the D flat and the A flat scales, was not all that great back at that point. In I didn't have the comprehension of them back in those days. Let 20 or 30 years go by. It's getting close to 30. Well, no, it's past 30. Jeez. 30 something years go by, and you will, if you keep practicing, you'll get a better grasp of that stuff. But those are really good skills to have. So what I would tell you, and I'm just throwing stuff out this morning, I've only had part of 1 cup of coffee today, so just now getting started moving, right? But anyhow, that being said, taking the time every day to work on those scales is a really, really, really good thing. And one of the things that I tell people, and I'm going to throw this in there for free, a little extra addendum, has to do with this hand. And it's really weird how the human anatomy is made. But the thing, and I always equate this with bowling. So when you go bowling, when I was in college, okay, so here's a fun little story. When I was going to college, we had to have so many physical activity credits to graduate, right? So I was thinking, what can I take? Because, I mean, it's, you look at what's offered in the classes, and if you were like me, my major had absolutely nothing to do with anything physical activity wise. So let's just find something that will make the college happy so I can get my degree and I can just, and it's nothing that's going to be too insanely annoying or difficult to do. And so I took a class in bowling. They offered it, so I took it. And it was actually fun. And one of the things I remember learning in the bowling class was that the instructor would tell you, he said, keep your approach and the way you swing your arm with the ball, he says, keep it always the same. Nothing changes. He said, the only thing that you change to vary where the ball is going to go is your starting point. Because you're going to go over this one dot or whatever every time. You're going to throw the ball over that. But what angle you start at is what makes the difference. Well, believe it or not, violin playing is the same in some areas. Okay, so the relationship in your hand here, you don't want this to change. You don't want to do this to reach notes that are farther away. What you want to do is this. See? So placement of your elbow changes what strings your fingers are hovering over. See what I'm saying? Now, of course, it's going to be this way. So it's like this. So if I want to play the bigger strings, the G and D strings, I'm going to tuck my elbow in further. If I want to play the smaller strings, I'm going to let my elbow drift out. But this relationship, my wrist stays straight, and this all stays the same. Right? I'm not doing some kind of weird reach, because that's actually tightens up the carpal tunnel and can, in long term, cause you some health issues. So you don't want that, right? So the big thing is, okay, take your arm, do like this, pull it across your body, and set it down. Boom. There's kind of like a pocket physiologically in here where it just sits. So you take your violin like that, boom, pull it up, set the elbow in, and boom. Then you just work it, and it does all that for you. And I'm way over exaggerating it, but it makes all the difference in the world. So you don't have any tension in your hand. So your hand is always relaxed. You can play way faster, way cleaner, and you'll play more in tune. Everything's better that way. It's just the best way to play. All right. Anyhow, that's enough of my ramblings from my little bear's den this morning. Hope everyone has a great day. I'm getting ready to head to Branson. I've got a recording session to do there today. I've got to play with actually at Hollister. My buddy Dennis Groves. Dennis is just a really good musician, excellent studio engineer. And if you're in that area up there, his is one of the studios I would recommend. I recommend him. Also recommend Stephen John. Stefan's a great engineer as well, both of those guys. And either one of them, I would recommend going to their studios. And there's some other guys up there that have studios too. Mike McAdee's got one, and Mike's an amazing guitar player. So these are guys that I would say contact them if you need to record something in that area. If you're going to be down here in Harrison, you need something, hey, give me a shout. Maybe I can help you out. But again, I'll be up there cutting some tracks with them today. And then I got to get back here tonight to cut vocal tracks with a singer that's coming down for somebody else's record. So lots of stuff going on. It's going to be a busy day. Y'all have a good one, and I'll catch up with you soon.